Imagine a country where for every 100 women, there are only 86 men. In Russia, this isn't make-believe, it's everyday life. This difference shapes everything: dating, getting married, even how the economy works. For Russian women, finding a partner can feel like a tough competition. This imbalance isn't new. It started a long time ago and is still around because of today's problems. It's more than just numbers. It's about real people dealing with hard choices. So, where have all the men gone? The answer is complicated, mixed in with war, health, and culture. We'll look into what caused this population puzzle. As we go, you'll hear stories from women who live with this reality. Let's find out how a country's past and present have created a society where women often look for partners who just aren't there. Russia's gender gap started over 100 years ago, shaped by war and tough times. World War I, the Civil War, and especially World War II, wiped out generations of men. The Great Patriotic War alone left millions of women without partners. Life after the war brought more problems. Dangerous jobs, political purges, when the government removed people it didn't like, and harsh living conditions. Men faced bigger risks and shorter lives, a pattern that went on for decades. When the Soviet Union fell, new stresses appeared. Joblessness, drinking problems, and health crises hit men the hardest. These sad events piled up, creating a lasting effect on the population that still shapes Russia today. The missing men are a result of wars, economic troubles, and public health issues. This history set the stage for the gender imbalance we see now. Understanding this past is key to understanding Russia's present. The numbers are huge, almost overwhelming when you see them laid out on a page or a screen. They tell a story that's both striking and sobering, one that shapes the lives of millions of people every single day. In Russia, there are about 10 million more women than men. That's not just a statistic, it's a reality that you can see on the streets, in workplaces, and in homes across the country. The gender gap is most dramatic among older generations, where women far outnumber men. But this imbalance doesn't just appear later in life. It's present in every age group, quietly influencing relationships and opportunities from a young age. For women in their late 20s or 30s, the search for a partner can feel almost impossible. Many find themselves competing for a shrinking pool of single men, and the odds are rarely in their favor. Men often marry at a younger age, and it's common for them to remarry if they become single again. This means that many men are off the market, while women are left waiting, hoping, or simply moving on. The reasons behind this gap are complex. Russian women live on average 10 years longer than men. High rates of smoking, heavy drinking, and heart disease among men have devastating effects, cutting lives short and leaving families changed forever. As a result, many women face the very real possibility of becoming widows or spending much of their lives single. For some, this means loneliness. For others, it's a chance to build new kinds of families and friendships. This imbalance ripples through society in countless ways. There are more households with just one person, and more women living alone than ever before. Women are increasingly the main earners, juggling work and family, and redefining what it means to be independent in modern Russia. Family structures are shifting, with new roles and expectations emerging. The gender gap isn't just a dating problem, it's a major population challenge that affects the country's future. It shapes everything from the economy to social policies, and even the way people see themselves. In the face of these challenges, millions of Russian women have learned to be strong, resilient, and fiercely independent. They build careers, support families, and create communities, often without a partner by their side. The numbers tell a story of loss, but also of adaptation and hope. People find new ways to connect, to support each other, and to thrive despite the odds. In Russia, the search for a partner is shaped by a stark reality. Men are simply hard to find, and women are redefining what it means to live, love, and lead in a changing world. For Russian women, the dream of having a family often collides with the harsh reality of population numbers. There are simply fewer men than women, and this imbalance shapes almost every aspect of dating and relationships. The desire for love and companionship is strong, but the odds can feel stacked against them from the very beginning. There's strong social pressure to marry young. Families worry if their daughters are single by their mid-20s. At family gatherings, questions about marriage and children are common, and parents often express concern about their daughters' futures. This pressure can feel overwhelming, making it hard to focus on personal dreams or ambitions. With so few available men, dating becomes very competitive. Women often find themselves in situations where they are vying for the attention of the same man, and the social scene can feel like a constant contest. This competition can lead to feelings of insecurity and self-doubt, especially when it seems like everyone is searching for the same thing. Women are often told to ignore flaws or just settle, just to avoid being alone. Friends and family may advise them to lower their standards, suggesting that being single is worse than being in an imperfect relationship. This advice can be confusing and even hurtful, leaving many women feeling trapped between their own desires and societal expectations. Many respond by focusing on education and careers, becoming independent because they have to. They pour their energy into personal growth, building successful lives on their own terms. For some, this independence is empowering, while for others, it's simply a way to cope with the realities of the dating world. As Svetlana from Moscow says, "I can't wait for a man to save me. I have to save myself." Her words echo the mindset of many women who are learning to rely on themselves, finding strength in their own abilities and resilience. Some women look for partners abroad, using international dating websites as a practical solution. They hope to find love beyond Russia's borders, seeking relationships where the numbers aren't so daunting and where they might be appreciated for who they are. For those who stay, friendships with other women become very important support groups. These bonds offer comfort, advice, and a sense of belonging, helping women navigate the ups and downs of love and life in modern Russia. The dating scene is a mix of old dreams and new realities. While some still hope for the traditional fairy tale, others are redefining what happiness and fulfillment mean for themselves. Russian women are figuring out what it means to succeed, sometimes with, sometimes without, a partner. They are breaking old stereotypes, proving that happiness and achievement can come in many forms. The shortage of men has forced them to become a new kind of self-reliant. They are learning new skills, managing their own lives, and taking pride in their independence. In Russia, being single is often less of a choice and more of a necessity. But it's also a source of strength. For many women, it's about embracing who they are, supporting each other, and building a future on their own terms, no matter what challenges they face. The gender gap in Russia gives men more options in the dating world, but it also brings unique pressures that are often overlooked. While it might seem like an advantage at first glance, the reality is far more complicated for many Russian men. With less competition for partners, some men feel they can afford to put off getting serious or working on self-improvement. The sense of abundance can lead to a more relaxed approach to relationships, but it can also foster complacency and indecision. At the same time, traditional roles expect men to be providers and protectors, a heavy burden, especially in tough economic times. The pressure to succeed financially and offer stability can be overwhelming, particularly for young men just starting out. Dmitry, an engineer, says, "You need a good job, car, and apartment to be seen as a worthy husband. Without these things, you're often overlooked, no matter your other qualities." Sometimes, Dmitry admits, it's easier to stay single than to constantly feel like you're falling short of expectations. The fear of not measuring up can lead some men to withdraw from the dating scene altogether. High rates of drinking problems and heart disease aren't just statistics. They're everyday realities for many men. The stress of living up to social and economic expectations can take a real toll on both mental and physical health. The culture of heavy drinking is deeply linked to ideas of masculinity, but it shortens lives and puts a strain on families. Many men turn to alcohol as a way to cope with pressure, but it often leads to more problems at home. Some men enjoy the freedom of choice and the ability to take their time, while others feel overwhelmed by the weight of expectations from family, society, and even themselves. The imbalance in numbers shapes men's behavior, making commitment seem risky or even frightening. The fear of making the wrong choice can lead to hesitation and missed opportunities. For many, the traditional path of marriage and family isn't always appealing or even possible. Some men feel isolated, unsure if they'll ever meet the expectations set for them. The gender gap doesn't just help men, it complicates their lives, adding layers of stress and uncertainty to their choices and relationships. Both men and women are trying to navigate a dating world shaped by scarcity, pressure, and shifting expectations. The search for connection is rarely simple. In Russia, the search for a partner is a challenge for everyone, and the pressures of gender imbalance touch every part of life, from first dates to family dinners. Education adds another layer to Russia's dating problem. Women now outnumber men in universities, creating an education gap on top of the gender gap. Many educated women find it hard to find partners with similar backgrounds. The result? They get married later, there are more single women, and women aim higher in their careers. Sociologists notice a fast-growing group educated single women in their 30s who refuse to marry down, marry someone with less education or a lower social standing. The university campus is often where the harsh math of the dating market first becomes clear. In a country with too few men, the education gap makes the search for an equal partner even tougher. For many, the choice is between settling or staying single, and more are choosing to be independent. The modern Russian dating pool is shaped as much by education as by numbers. The Russian government has tried to fix the gender gap and low birth rate with policies like maternity capital, money given to families for having more children. Public campaigns encourage traditional family values and healthier ways of living for men. Efforts to reduce drinking and improve men's health aim to close the gap in how long people live. The results are mixed. Birth rates haven't gone up much, and traditional roles don't always fit modern women's lives. Many women turn to online dating or matchmaking services to get more options. Communities organize events for single people, finding creative solutions at the local level. Government policies help, but individuals and communities are leading the way. The search for connection is increasingly shaped by new ideas, not just old traditions. In Russia, closing the gap is a challenge that needs both government action and personal effort. Experts agree, the gender gap won't disappear anytime soon. As older generations pass away, the gap might get smaller, but men's health remains the most important factor. Reducing drinking and risky behaviors could help men live longer and change the balance. Sociologist Irina Vorobieva says, the solution is public health, not just romance. Social attitudes are changing too. More women are choosing to be single, live with a partner without marrying, or become mothers without a husband. The pressure to get married is fading as women build good lives on their own terms. People moving from Central Asia might slightly affect the gender ratio in some areas, but the main problem is internal. The future of Russia's gender balance depends on healthier men and changing social norms. The next chapter will be written by both government policies and personal choices. Russia's gender imbalance is a story of loss, but also of strength and new beginnings. Women have built independent lives, finding success beyond marriage. Strong friendships, careers, and personal growth are now key to happiness. The traditional fairy tale ending is being rewritten. Sometimes it's a single woman doing well, or friends supporting each other, or a mother raising a child alone. The population challenge has created a generation of strong women. They are not waiting for the puzzle to be solved. They're creating their own happy endings. The journey to balance will be long, but the spirit of adapting is already changing society. Russian women are the heroes of this story, turning tough times into empowerment. The missing men remain a puzzle, but the women of Russia are busy building new futures. In modern Russia, happily ever after comes in many forms.